bottom of the screen, but whatever. Fix that later. Okay, so we should have negative 8m plus 24 and a negative 32 in there. So factoring, we need to review our vocab for factoring if we're going to factor things. Can we remember, because we talked about this, man, for you guys, it was probably 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, can you remember what we said factoring means? Here? Never mind. Factoring, we said, is breaking up, or what mathematical word do we use to break things up?
Dividing everything by a common factor.
Yeah, dividing everything by a common factor. So please put that on your notes. I'm trying to make your life easier by giving you less to write, but I'm still going to give you plenty to write. So down here, for most of these, I think we could factor in multiple different ways that are all actually, like, correct. And guys, this is where math gets really tough because there are multiple correct answers. So on Khan, you're going to have this multiple choice, which actually makes things really tough because they give you some answers that even involve decimals and fractions. And in our brain, it's nicer to break things up using whole numbers, right? So when we think about factoring, I normally think about integers when I factor, right? So when I think about 90 and 60, okay, they're both actually negative, but when I think about 90 and 60, what number could I divide both 90 and 60 by? Well, I could also just think about like 9 and 3, but wait, since they both end in 0, 10, right? Since they both end in 0, we could factor by 10. If we divide them both by 10, negative 90 divided by 10 leaves us with a negative 9. Negative 60 divided by 10 would leave us with a negative 6. And the W needs to come along with us. Try to find another value that we could divide both of those by and go ahead and do it. Actually, I'm going to give you at least half of the sand timer, which would be about 2.5 minutes. Try to factor all of the other expressions. Like, we can do each of them twice. We can actually do each of them as many times as we want to. But I'll give you another example for the negative 90 minus 60W. If we factored out negative 10, right, because both numbers are negative, what if we divided by negative 10? Negative 90 divided by negative 10 leaves us with positive 9. Same thing happens with the negative 60W. And one more option, please go ahead and look up here. I'm just going to give you these for the first one, then give you time for the other ones. Sorry, what I should do is pull this up. They're both factors of 3, but they're also both factors of 10, or sorry, multiples. I'm saying factors, I mean multiples. Remember, multiples are getting bigger. Factors are when we look at the smaller numbers that go into that bigger number. So, 30 or negative 30 could divide out of both of these, but since I divided out the positive, I end up with negative values. Guys, we can check any of these by drawing the arrows and doing the corresponding multiplication. So if I check the multiplications, I will get this as my answer. Try these on your own. At least these two, actually the last one, you might want to jump over to this one. Ends in 5, ends in 0, ends in 5. That one shouldn't be too tough either. I am going to make random cards today as I go because I keep getting distracted at home because my brain is interesting and I just can't bring myself to do lots of schoolwork at home. But I keep promising that I'm going to make these. So don't be surprised when I just randomly call on you. So you should be trying to solve these right now on your paper. Right? You have less to do because I have the notes printed out for you, but I still have pretty high expectations of you. Think about, are they both even? Are they both factors of 5 or 10 or something big? right, shuffling up and drawing. And then I just cycle through the stack. So guys, you can always pass. Pass is always an option. However, I would like you to try and make a guess, because then I can help you. I'm pretty good at identifying mistakes. Like when you take your car to a mechanic and they can just figure out what's wrong with it. I'm pretty good at identifying mistakes. So I would rather you risk it and risk failing and risk me helping you instead of just passing, but you are always welcome to pass. All right, so looking for a common factor, we can divide negative 56z and 28 by. Amelia, do you have a suggestion? No? All right, not here. Mia? Not. Sorry, yeah. For some reason, I thought you were sitting back there normally. I'm just crazy. 7? Yeah. Now, what I thought of first was they could both be 2. So if we did 7, what did you end up dividing by? Or, sorry, what did you end up getting as a result? So we put the 7 on the outside of the parentheses. Sorry, I'm asking my question poorly. I don't want to write on that little card. So after we divide it, so what's 56 divided by 7? So negative, because it was negative, right? And we divided by a positive, and the z comes with it. Then what's 28 divided by the 7? So if you factored out a 7, that's what you would get. I recognize that they were both divisible by 2, right? They were both even numbers. So even though it's not a very big number to factor out, we could factor out a 2. Likewise, if we look for really, really big, guys, 56 is actually 28 times 2. So we could actually factor out 28. That's the biggest option that we have, but we could actually factor out 28. Miriam, in 6g minus 18h. Ooh, you factored out 3. So got the result of 2g minus 6h. Madeline, you got another one? You did can you think of another one for 6 and 18? 2. Sure, 2 works. Guys, please write down a couple options in your notes so you can refer back to your notes and check these and ask yourself, why did this work? We could also factor out 6. Thank you, Charlie. Guys, any questions? Any questions so far? Charlie, that's funny. You were actually the next card. So do you want to tell us one that we can do for the next one? So I cannot hear you. Can you speak up at all? Pass for now. Let's give you one more second to do the final one. So the final one uses 35, 30, and 45. Right? Of course, we cannot combine them because they're not like terms. What could we factor? 35, 30, and 45. Drew? Sorry, you guys got to speak up. Even if you're saying pass, you got to speak up. Still figuring it out. Think about ends in 5, ends in 0, ends in 5. Isis? 5. We could factor out a 5 there. Victor, can you think of a bigger number we might be able to divide them by, but we will end up with some decimal answers? I bet it would help if I gave you this multiple choice list. What's another number that we could divide? Well, technically, we can divide by any number that you want. Guys, you can literally divide by any number that you want. So with these multiple choices that they give us, we kind of have to check each one. Well, this is wrong, right? Because we can't divide 45 by 7 and get 45. But you could divide 45 by 7. It wouldn't be nice, but you could do it. So the other thing that I want to make sure you have written down, and you should put stars next to or highlight or do something, you can divide by bigger numbers than what technically comes out nice. You just get decimal or fraction answers. You can divide by numbers that result in decimal or fraction answers. So this would be like if I was trying to make 10 batches or like groupings out of whatever this is. Maybe it's like $35, 30 Swedish fish, and a lack of 45 hot tamales. I don't know. This is hard to talk about with positives and negatives, but we're splitting things up, right? Factoring is splitting things up. So if I wanted to make 10 groups, how much is in each group? Well, that's 3.5, 3s, and a negative 4.5t. Any questions on our factoring practice? Moving on to simplification, which is, again, turning this process around. Instead of factoring, we're going to put things together. So instead of breaking things apart, we're going to put things together. So the first thing we always do is draw the arrows. You could just go ahead and draw the arrows on all three of these. Boo, 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 boo. If you add the sound effects, it makes your math better. When we do the multiplication, guys, today I'm not going to write out everything necessarily. But remember, what's happening here is negative 5 times 2f makes the negative 10f. Negative 5. Guys, notice, we're not multiplying with 5. We're multiplying with negative 5. This negative goes with that 5. So I'm trying to be really zoomed in on my paper because especially some people in the afternoon class told me, like, hey, I should really probably have glasses, but I don't. And this has been a weird school year. That's why we're making sure to do vision checks now that you guys are back in school. Please, please, please tell me if you cannot see. And there's a seat right in front of Skylar, like if anyone decides they want a closer seat. Or you can like rock, paper, scissors with like Madeline or Miriam or Mia to... There's a strategy to rock, paper, scissors in case you didn't know that. So, Jocelyn, what do I do next? By the way, I go through the stack and then I shuffle. So if you haven't been called yet, you should realize your probability of being called is increasing because you haven't been called yet. This is probability, which we're going to do like next chapter. So Jocelyn, can I combine anything here? Yeah, the F's are like terms. So they get along. They're both negative. Well, you tell me. Is that the answer, or can we combine anything else? We cannot combine anything else. Those are not like terms. That is our answer. I want to give you at least half of the sand timer to do the next two. Quite frankly, I think they're a tad bit easier. Because, guys, how the first one was written was tricky because the negative F in front made it look a little, like, messy. In the next one, notice they have the 3a after everything else happens. The thing I've been seeing some of you trying to do is extend the multiplication out to something outside the parentheses. Actually, it's not you guys because you haven't taken the quiz yet. Don't. The multiplication only goes to the things in the parentheses, right? So the arrow should just go to those two places. Do we have any Tuesday wellness people in here? So you guys missed this week and last week, right? We're probably going to give you wellness today, hopefully. Because you've missed a lot. Do not look up at the screen unless you want help. Okay? Because I'm going to show the first step from each of these. Do not look up at the screen unless you need help. I made a boo-boo. It's okay. Oh, I need to zoom out. Guys, there are rulers and highlighters up front. Another reminder. So if you want a ruler to draw some straight lines and section stuff off, please grab one. Highlighters, fantastic. Guys, I have a really hard time waiting. Skylar, are you done with this first one? Sweet. What do we get when we are done with this middle one? Yeah, because the negative 6a and the 3a combine because they're like terms. Yeah, don't do math in pen. Then you'll end up like me, scribbling stuff out. And so, guys, I don't want to spend a dozen sheets of paper to teach this, but that's what it would take, because I use 2 sheets of paper because I write in pen. So that's why I'm not doing this again, and I'm, like, unveiling stuff for you. Nor, like, when you're leading, I'll write live for you guys, but this lets me keep my hand out of the way. And I already unveiled it, so I kind of took away the surprise. But what happens with a negative 4H and a positive 4H? They go home. They're like, hey, we're evenly matched. We're either going to fight to the death or we can both just leave. And they're like, yeah, peace. Or they're evenly matched and they fight each other and they both just like disappear. Right? I'm not going to spoil any movies for you, but you know that sometimes superheroes just disappear when they, pass on. So yeah, a negative 4H, bad guy 4H, and a positive 4H combine with each other to make nothing, or they just leave. They like ran away. They were scared. And we get negative 20. Or they were secretly in love and they ran away together. Well, you never know. Sometimes. You can't argue with love. Sometimes it'll turn a good guy bad and a bad guy good. And guys, I should make sure I clarify. When I say good guy, bad guy, I am using guy as a gender neutral term. This could, of course, be anybody, everybody. So just to clarify, there are bad women as well. No, it's just in my brain that I keep saying guy, and sometimes, I'm texting a previous student right now, and she would have made a fuss about, like, what, are guys the only bad, or, like, she would have said something. Yeah. She's like, why you don't ever talk about girls, huh? Why, like, so she would have just made a funny thing about it. I forget exactly what I was looking to make sure you guys, I think this is just more review. I mean, I made these notes, right? These are mine. Like, I sat down and I took time, but that was like a week and a half ago. So now it feels like a long time ago. The thing I wanted to remember to tell you with Khan Academy is you need to check every answer they give you, because often there is still some work to be done. Right? So here they have not combined their like terms yet. Right? So the one that we just did up in the middle of the paper, they did not combine their like terms yet, but this is equivalent. Minus 12 is the same thing as negative 12. So be cautious and take your time as you do your Khan Academy to make sure that you check for all answers that work. So here, what answers work? You can solve it on your paper, but getting to the final value may not be up here. Right? So if you do this, negative 3 times 2w, negative 3 times 6, you should be looking at your paper. And then the minus 4, okay, now I'll show it up here, I guess. We get negative 6w plus negative 22, but if I click none of the above, I'm wrong. Negative 6w plus negative 22 is not over here. Sort of. There's another expression that needs simplified. Right? Expression B right here still needs simplified. So 2 times negative 3w, would that give us a negative 6w? I think so. Would 2 times negative 11 give us the negative 22 that we're looking for? I think so. So B is actually equivalent to this mess that they gave us up here, because both of them weren't yet simplified. Do the next one and see which one up there you think is equivalent to this one. I love watching snow blow the hill right here. Whenever a big gust of wind comes, snow just blows off the little hill that they made. The construction dirt. Guys, if you are like a couple people that I've been noticing, like if you're finishing what we have written before I move on, you can move on. So if you already finished the front, you could move on to the back, but I'm going to show the final front question here. Again, A is wrong. I'm sorry that print printed so light. It's how it copied over and then how it came out of the Xerox machine. What came out of the printer did not look so light. So again, A is not an equivalent value, but B, if we simplify, is an equivalent value. Any questions on the front of the paper? This is the most awkward part of teaching, where you just stare at 12-year-olds and make them uncomfortable. Oh yeah, this was my lame version before I used more colors. I was like, I need to write in more than just blue. But yeah, I've written this a few times already. Let's flip to the back. Linear expressions is an expression that tells us a starting point and a change. I would like you to highlight unit rate. The change that a linear expression tells us is the unit rate for that situation. When we talk about linear expressions, we often talk about where we start. And that starting point is what we call the y-intercept. Now, if the y-intercept is 0, it's proportional. Otherwise, it's not. So you might this is why I say get 2 or 3 colors, is to make it pop in a different color. And guys, you can get up in the middle of class too. I do not care. If you need to sharpen your pencil, if you need to punch holes in something, if you need tape or stapler, it's all over there. I'm starting to get better set up over here. Like I feel kind of moved in at this point. By the way, I brought the chessboard back. I don't know if we have any chess players, but if at lunch or whatever you wanted to play chess, you just got to stay distanced from each other. So like come up to the chessboard, make your move, and then like roll back or something. I'm not joking. We could do it over in Miss Meyer's room. They have the rolly desks over there. I am getting re-interested in chess because a friend of mine and I downloaded the chess.com app, and we've been playing with each other like remotely because we can't hang out in person. So I was like, Dave, I miss you. And he was like, let's play chess. I was like, okay. Ooh, that's always fun when your parents force you to do something. That's what makes you love it. All right. The big thing I wanted to make sure we point out here is when somebody uses the word slope with you, you probably don't know that word yet. Slope, well, you've probably heard it, like on a ski slope or whatever else. Slope. Okay, good. Good. I'm doing my job. Good. Where is yellow? All right, well, I lost yellow. Ah, there it is. Slope is the unit rate for the situation. So slope and unit rate are synonyms. So if somebody gives you the unit rate of $20 per hour, that is not telling us to divide. That is telling us the unit rate. So you might want to write an example here of like if somebody told you they were driving at 25 miles per hour, that is not a division problem. Even though it uses the word per, that is using per because it is a rate. Rates use the word per because they were found by dividing. Somebody already did the division. If they give you the rate, somebody did the division. So if we check out our situation down here, sorry it's so small. A robin flew R meters per second. A cardinal flew C meters per second. I think I actually have this bigger on the, get out of here. There you go. So take a moment to ask yourself, what does T times the R minus C describe? And well, what does just R minus C describe? So take a moment, write it down on your paper. I'm guessing you probably already did. Move on. Are you done? Like all the way with the back?
No,
I was about to say, I'll give you the next notes. Or I'll give you the quiz. I'm actually going to walk around with the quiz, so you can go ahead and start this if you want to. Please put your name on it as soon as you get this, especially if I run out of time at the end of class, which I might. Yes, I'm sorry, this is homework. I need these back tomorrow. Or today. Today works really, really well. Sorry, I'm humble. Do what? Oh, dang it! Yeah, guys, I have a 3-hole punch right up here. So if you're using a binder, please, I'm sorry, but you can come punch the paper on your own. I forgot to punch them. Now, all the rest of my students get the benefit of you having asked me. God, how dare you? What does R minus C represent in this context, Isis? Yeah, the robin minus the cardinal. What do we use? What word do we use when talking about subtraction? Starts with a D. It's the difference between the robin and the cardinal. Right? So R minus C, because it uses the minus, that is the difference between the robin and the cardinal. If we multiply by T, what is T in this situation? Time in seconds, right? So that would just tell us after how many seconds. So the R minus C is the difference every second. That R minus C is actually our rate here. Down here, we're going to do matching to practice seeing if we know what our different expressions mean. So Lee pre-sold some carnations. You guys can read. You can highlight what's important. And then, sorry, I need to move where this is. We're going to match from the left situation to the right expression. Right on your paper, you've got the situations and the expressions all listed there. Highlight what's important. Ooh, can't see that. Purple highlighter is very dark. Maybe we should avoid purple. The part with the mirrors during the halftime show was a little bit much for me. All right, we're going to run through cards here. Amelia, can you tell me the total number of carnations Lee sold? That top situation, whether it matches to, we'll call it like A, B, C, or D on the right-hand side. Yeah, it matches that 32 plus C on top there, right? So our top situation actually goes to our top expression. So that would be a nice, easy, straight arrow across right there. Mia. Oh, I should shuffle. Mia, can you tell me another one? Amount of money earned per carnation, where that goes, or you can pick a different one. I don't really care. Yeah, the amount of money earned per carnation was 0.25. Right? So that goes down to the bottom one. Leaving only two options open. So the amount of money earned for carnations Lee pre-sold. Well, Jocelyn, how many did she pre-sell? And how much did she make per flower? And when we do that math, it comes out to be $8. So this also goes straight across. And then we only have one option left, so I got to go back on this to make sure that it's not there when we see. Sorry, I just didn't want to show it to the next class coming. Like, that's why I hit the back arrows. So, amount of money earned per carnation was a quarter. Right, 0.25. The amount of money she earned from the pre-sales, that 8 uses the 32 up here and the 25 cents. So if we do 32 times 25 cents, that gives us the $8. And then on the day of, she sold C carnations. So she got a quarter for every C carnation she sold. So whatever C is, we'll do 0.25 times C. Write your own expression. I know, there's only so many questions. Hey, can we save some time tomorrow and I pass out tomorrow's notes today? Can you guys not lose them? Or if you do, will you admit it and just come tell me that you need another copy? Or should I just wait? I'll probably just put them on your desk before you walk in my room. How about that? We'll just put them on your desk first thing in the morning so you don't have to get them out tomorrow. If each mill, which is not actually a mill, we should be calling it a wind turbine, but whatever. If each mill generates M, and we have 2 of them, each solar panel generates S, and we have 3 of them, then Victor, can you tell me what expression you wrote to represent all of the energy we're going to get? Sorry, I can't hear you, man. All right, I'll give you guys another minute or so. We got 5 minutes left, I think. I got to check our schedule anyway, so go ahead and take a moment with it. Oh, I got like 8 minutes. Hot diggity. Tell me to slow down. I'm going too fast. But I don't think I am. I think you're back here half asleep. Yeah, I told you guys that that was my promise. You were supposed to take this like Monday, Tuesday, and then you weren't here Tuesday. And really, you were supposed to take it last week, but because you guys had missed Tuesday last week, I didn't have time to give it to you on Thursday because we had too much stuff to do. Mia, can you tell me what expression we could write for our model house? Skylar? We have 2 windmills. Guys, 2, and then the thing that represents it is M for mill. Excuse me, we have 3 solar panels. So we will generate 2 times whatever each mill gets. Really, it's a turbine. And 3 times whatever each solar panel gets. Why do I keep saying really it's a turbine? Why is it not a mill? What do mills do? They mill things. They cut things or grind things. They mill. Guys, this is where you have to actually think about what words mean. And guys, I'm from a city, like I'm a town. I don't even know that I would call it a city. People would say things and it'd be completely wrong because people didn't care about what they said. The thing over there near my house that spins from the wind is a turbine because it creates energy. A mill spins an object that cuts or grinds, like flour or wheat or wood. Like you would have a wood mill. But this is why I keep saying it's not technically a mill. You're not milling energy. You're collecting it. You're using a turbine. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. Sorry. Anyone want to volunteer to give me this one? It's the last one, so I'll take a volunteer. Isis? Ooh, careful. Yeah, you're right. 4 bags with M. 3 left over. I would have actually written that as I had 3 marbles and I have 4 bags each with M marbles. But these are the same expressions. Notice whether I do 3 plus 4M or 4M plus 3, it's the same things. So that is another good example of it doesn't matter if you write the constant first or the variable first. Guys, because we only have a half hour tomorrow, we should really start these. I have 4 minutes left, so I'm going to go ahead and say, let's start these notes. You can do that quiz during AO or extensions or whatever. So put your name and a date on these notes. You can put today's date or tomorrow's date. I don't care. Take a moment to think to yourself, why do we use a variable? Why do we use a coefficient? And if you can't remember what a coefficient is, that's going to be step 1. And why do we use a constant? So your name and date should be on the top of this paper. I left you space on this one, actually. Look, I'm getting better. Guys, I have a page of notes like this for every single day of CPM that I taught, but we're not using CPM. So I'm remaking these with Khan Academy. So it's mildly easier this year because I only have to make 2 each week per class. But still, please realize, like, I'm doing this so you have less work to do, so you have no excuse. Like, if you can't write as fast as I'm writing, raise your hand and tell me to slow down. Okay, that's your job. If you can't keep up, you just tell me. I will slow down. But the reason I put all this stuff on this paper is so you can highlight and underline. I suggest highlighting over underlining, but if you refuse to get highlighters, I can't make you. But the first stuff we're going to fill in so we don't have to do it tomorrow is we use a variable, as I think most of us would know, to represent an unknown. I think most of us, as soon as you hear the word variable in your brain, you're like, oh, it's an unknown. A coefficient Sorry, my mouse is in the way. A coefficient is like that number in front of the variable, right? Like 3, sorry, give me a second. Like 3 times z. We use it to show multiples. And the constant, the last thing there, is to show what we know. And I'll go show that on my notes in a second. Because if you know I have 3 marbles, I know I have 3 marbles. Then I have 4 bags. But what if my bags are magically empty? So guys, I know I said a lot at you today. You got 3 pages of paper walking out of here. This is why I said you should get a binder. If you do not have a binder and you do not think you're going to be able to get a binder, or you don't think you're going to be able to stay organized for now, 2 options. 1, come see me. I got some binders I'll loan you. They're not tiny, so you might be like, this won't fit in my backpack, never mind. They're like 2-inch binders. They're not huge. Or, in my little can over there, there are binder clips, which are meant to just clip papers together and keep them together. If you have a binder for another class or something that you need to stick these papers in for a day or so, you can borrow a binder clip. I'll actually probably go put some paper clips over there too. And use like a binder clip or a paper clip to keep these things together. Here, I'll put some jumbo paper clips over here. Wow, those are huge. Here, so guys, what I'm talking about is in this thing, there are some smaller guys that are perfect for just a few pieces of paper. This is for you. All right, then get out of here. You're heading over to Mr. Johnson's room, I think. Might as well call it that. It's been his room for 2 days now. Well, Miss Allie wasn't here yesterday either.
Oh, she's not here?
Yeah, she's not here. Mr. Johnson is subbing.
Missing our greatness for the 1 year that we're here.
You should email her and tell her that you're upset. She'd be like, we braved the snow just to come see you. All right, constant was show what we know. We'll review these right when we start the notes tomorrow. If you want to get a jump start on tomorrow's class, go through and highlight stuff. I'm not going to show you all my writing, but I will show you, like, look, lots of highlighting. So go through and highlight stuff if you want. When you come in tomorrow, I'm going to ask you to grab 3 colors of highlighters, by the way. Or bring your own. Please, bring your own. I can already tell that some of mine have walked out of my classroom by accident. I don't think anyone's intentionally taking my stuff. But yeah, try to bring your own if you can. All right, guys, have a great day. Get out of here. You are welcome to open that door and get out of here.